Hello, everybody. Welcome to Painted Heart. I'm
Howdy,
Angela,
howdy.
and off camera we have.
Oh, yes. Hi, my name is...
I'm so bad at it.
You're fine. My name is Colton. Hi, how are you?
The robot in the corner.
Yes. Hi. Yeah, painting things today.
Hope everybody's doing well today. We have some fun things. Specifically, if you see on Colton's side, you'll see that we have a Majora's mask.
Yes.
Majora's mask that he's had 3D printed for a while, and he gets to paint it today, or at least start painting it today.
I'm very excited.
Me too. I just sort of randomly picked. First of all, Emperor Charles II. That's a beautiful name. Thank you so much for for following us today. Colton's gonna be working on a Majora's Mask. I'm gonna be working on this totally not Skeletor. I've decided to make him a barbarian lich.
Ooh. Love that.
And I will use it one day. But he's got a purposefully not look like Skeletor, which means no purple. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna pull up a picture of Skeletor for my reference so I know what not to do.
There you go.
But how are you doing, Colton?
Good. Got a bit of headache, but other than that, I'm doing very, very well. Just, reading a lot of books.
Nice.
Doing school, recording podcasts. Generally fun things, yeah.
That is fun things. So for those of you who may not be familiar with our show, we are in the Tears of the Kingdom category today because of wanting to celebrate the Zelda work that he's doing. But we're just like a chill and paint stream. We do minis and other crafts, and you are welcome to join in chat with your crafts. If you want to share them, you're welcome to come onto our Discord and share pictures and stuff, and we'll try to put them on screen when we see them. You can find our chat in you can find our link in chat is what I meant to say.
There you go.
So yeah, I am really bad about not buying new minis.
Sure.
I showed you one. It's drying right now because I had to give it the hot water treatment because its legs wouldn't stick into the base.
No.
But in addition to the big surprise, I'll do it probably next week. I got a couple more female characters because I didn't have a lot of girls in my grouping. These are supposedly technically Kalishtar clerics. But, they're just human looking, which is totally fine. And then I got some from the Critical Role set. They've got a lot of minis now.
Really?
Like random stuff too. They like take their, the different, the different factions that they have. And they're just making minis. It's pretty neat.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, I thought so. Oh, there, now I'm in an actual color that looks human. So I got these two hobgoblins, which I was excited about. Work on getting exposure down just a little, turning gain up just a little. There we go, that should be better. So this is a hobgoblin with another clear piece. Can't wait to have to do this. But his arm is also part of the clear piece. So, like, his magic is going up into his arm, which is cool.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. And then this other hobgoblin wizard has a janky-ass finger, but it's really great. He's like, kind of pointing at you accusingly. They are not primed, though, so I will not be working on them today. They're just off to the side looking pretty. Emperor is hoping to get started on a scary art piece because they're worried it's going to be hard. That's what I mean by scary.
Well, the first, the hardest step is always the first, which is as someone who's done a lot of hiking, not an accurate statement, but you know,
We're all good. Everything's fine.
oh, oh,
Everything's fine. I really got to get a better tripod for my light here. Continue. You were saying hiking. It's an emphatically wrong piece of advice because
yes,
the easiest step is the first in hiking.
Usually, yeah.
Yeah. That sounds right.
But getting started is half the battle, right? Again, not necessarily true, but you know. Are there any statements that are actually true? I don't believe so. Truth is subjective.
Relative.
Yeah.
No,
which isn't true.
I don't believe that. I certainly don't believe that. At least in most circumstances, there is an objective fact in a lot of ways. I was just trying to get a simple paintbrush. I splurged a little bit because I bought another army painter brush. It's called the Psycho.
Ooh.
Because it has like 5 bristles. It's very tiny.
My goodness.
It is like, hey, you want to draw an eyeball on a miniature? Use this brush. So I am excited eventually to bust it out, but the last one I had definitely did not last very long. So at some point I will return to it. Or at some point I will start using them. But Skeletor does not need such fancy things, at least to start. So if this is to be not Skeletor, totally not, absolutely. What his color scheme as a lich might need to be, I don't know, earth tones? Maybe some leathers, maybe some reds, because of the whole, like, you know, like a blood lich or something.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Grab some of my earth tones, and yeah, do that. A little bit of, not like lime green like Skeletor's face is, but maybe like an olive tone.
Oh, nice. Well, thank you, Emperor Charles, for giving us that follow. We do fully support lurking here.
Yes, you're welcome to lurk. All right. I love the idea of a barbarian lich because, like, just buff as shit. Like, where's that? There's all that muscle definition just really stuck around.
Well, I mean, one of my favorite media franchises, Star Wars, there's several barbarian liches. Just in canon. Well, in canon and in Legends. Because, like, the whole thing about barbarians is they get all their power from being just really angry, right?
So they're Sith. You're saying barbarians are Sith?
Well, not necessarily, but I think barbarian liches are Sith.
Sure.
Because,
Okay.
like, Maul, Darth Maul,
oh yeah,
in canon,
can see Maul definitely being a barbarian.
He kept himself alive for 10 years just by sustained anger.
The epitome of living off spite.
Yeah.
Just surviving by spite.
And then he got real hot in his glow up.
Yeah, he did. It's so weird how, like, all it takes is some animation.
Animation and weird
Peter Serafinowicz.
Oddly hot.
Or not Peter Serafinowicz. Peter Serafinowicz was the original Maul voice. The guy
Sam Witwer.
Yes, thank you, Sam Witwer.
Yeah.
Sam Witwer, it continues to impress me. How giant of a nerd he is. It's great. He's basically like the lore keeper of the Star Wars franchise after Dave Filoni.
Yeah. I know it's an absolute shock. Hope.
I hope. Hope, have you ever gotten a haircut and somebody from the podcast saying, "Gasp, a new Hope"? joke. It really wasn't worth the laugh.
Sorry, no, I was texting someone. I thought it was
No,
funny,
you're
personally.
okay. All good. All right, so I'm using this color, Pallid Bone.
Ooh.
Color. It ends up coming out kind of like a... It kind of looks like an orc now, which is fun. A skeletal orc lich barbarian is kind of rad, actually. I wonder if I could make tusks read on the skull. That would definitely differentiate him from regular Skeletor.
You know, I love modern day technology. That's a lie. But
What is it? What is something you like about
the fact that I'm able to, using modern day technology, hold 5 conversations at the exact same time.
Oh, because you're texting someone, you're on Discord, you're talking to someone in chat, and you're talking to me?
Pretty much. Yeah.
It's a magical, cursed thing, isn't it?
Hope, you gotta tell us what is the best joke.
Yes, I mean, you can't just leave us hanging.
Emperor Charles, I never claimed that I can, like, accurately perform multiple conversations at once, but I certainly attempt to.
So, fun recommendation for you and the audience. Andy and I started playing a Final Fantasy game that came out recently. As I would describe it, as a Souls-like Final Fantasy.
Oh.
It has a very robust... It has co-op. And, it's called Stranger in Paradise Final Fantasy.
Interesting. I have never heard of that.
Yeah, here's my pitch. It is the dumbest fucking game I have possibly ever played, but it's a lot of fun. The story is nonsense. It is written by the guy who wrote Kingdom Hearts. And instead of light, darkness, and heart, they say chaos a lot.
Sure.
And it does have a fun little bit of, like, Andy described it as, wait, is Final Fantasy doing a Kingdom Hearts? And it's true, they are. Because
I mean, isn't Kingdom Hearts Final Fantasy doing a Kingdom Hearts?
No, it's not. Because what happened, that's Disney doing a Kingdom Hearts. Final Fantasy doing a Kingdom Hearts is a run and gun game in which you end up in different dimensions, and the dimension numbers are based off of the Final Fantasy game that the level is based on.
Oh, that's cute.
Dimension 3 has a bunch of stuff from Final Fantasy 3. It's real good. And when I say real good, I mean it's fun and nostalgic. The story doesn't make any sense. And they're just like, hey, I heard you like story. Would you like to read a paragraph while the loading screen is going? Because that's all the context you're going to get.
Fascinating.
And what got me into it, honestly, was the visuals of how they're allowing the game to have gore without having gore, like to avoid ratings issues.
Sure.
And so what they're doing is when you explode a bad guy, they turn into like Jello crystals, but they're all bright red. So it's like an explosion, but also if it was actual just internal gore, it'd be pretty gnarly.
I find that fascinating.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Andy and I are having a blast. It's really just, it's got like, it's a class-based game. So you pick a class like mage or pugilist or, by the way, there's sword fighter and sword master. Those are two different classes.
Interesting.
You gotta love the localization choices. But so you take a class and you can level it up by playing it, and you have skill trees and things like that. But you can assign yourself in the menu. You can assign yourself 2 different classes and interchange them with just a button click. So it makes some really fun, like, replayability and dynamic gameplay. It's pretty cool.
I'll have to give it a glance over.
Yeah. Be prepared for the dialogue to make no sense.
I've played Souls games. I'm familiar with
Souls games, downright coherent.
compared.
Like,
okay.
I don't understand how 2 of the party members in this game are acquired by defeating like bosses, and then they're just there instead of the boss, which implies to me that they were the boss. And then the main characters just go, I don't see any reason why you can't join us in battle. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You just fought them in a boss battle. Isn't there some question here?
How very
like,
shonen
nope.
of them.
Yeah, they're just like, we are the warriors of light, and we're gonna fight back on chaos.
Maybe
and there's like a question
exorcism?
about whether chaos is even real. So like a character was like, I tried to become chaos so people could defeat me and then stop worrying about chaos because they'd think it defeated it. Because it's just a force of nature, it's not a person. And then there's a dude that's like, no, it is a person, I'm gonna find chaos. It's so weird.
Interesting.
Anyway, it's a really fun game. It's definitely got a run and gun kind of vibe to it. You can replay everything whenever you want. It's really easy to get into multiplayer. You can play with up to 2 other people. And it's pretty seamless playing the multiplayer. But yeah, it's a very silly game. I spent like $50 on my copy, but I've already put in quite a lot of hours into it because it's just fun sometimes to just like turn it on and be like, I'm gonna go level up one of my classes.
Sure.
And you just go through a fighting area. But it has a bunch of monsters from a bunch of different Final Fantasy games. Like Andy got us through an entire section, I think way easier than we should have, because he remembered that these particular monsters were weak to fire, and we just destroyed them. Because he's like, I don't think this level is supposed to be this easy, because I'm not sure you're supposed to remember that fire is the way to get through them.
Is the little stabby guy from 7 in it?
Stabby guy from 7? Which one?
Yeah, he's just a little green guy with like a knife.
The Tonberries?
Tonberries, yeah.
They kick your ass. And there's Cactars. Which are delightful. They just, if anyone doesn't know, they're just like little Pokemon cactuses that are in a constant like run pose. And they just fuck you up. They're just really fast. There's my 2 favorite classes right now are the Pilgrim, who is basically a monk that has a staff, and you can like throw the top of your bow staff like a whip, or more like a grappling hook, because you can latch on to bad guys, pull them towards you, or leap towards them, which is a really fun way to like close the field. And then the Lancer, which is stupid because you can just throw a lance at people and it just destroys them. I have gotten very high level in the Lancer, and it's a fun time. But yeah, that's what I've been doing lately.
Fun.
Oh, and Andy got his first tattoo.
Ooh.
This weekend. That was fun. We went over
Nice.
went a couple hours away. He found an artist on Instagram that he really liked her work. And so now Andy has a tattoo on his bicep of a well, it's inspired by a Dark Souls bonfire.
Okay.
But he also had in the flames of the bonfire a treble clef because he's been doing a lot of music composition this year. And he's just like, I wanted to pick two things that mattered a lot to me.
Nice.
And it came out really, really pretty. It was Casey at Poison Ivy Ink. And she was delightful. And I walked out of there going, damn it, no, I want a tattoo.
I've been meaning to get a tattoo for like 2 years now, and I keep not doing it.
And that was Andy. He was like constantly thinking about it. Didn't know what he wanted to get, but like knew he wanted to get something. And then he finally put something together. The one that I'm really considering right now is it's a little trite amongst neurodivergent nerds, but I was gonna get the D&D saving throw circles.
Oh, fun.
But specifically underneath it having written out keep rolling as more of a motivation for myself. So I was looking forward to something like that. We're gonna go with Slaughter Red. And if I want to make myself nuts and constantly be updating tattoos, I was thinking of designing something that something that I tend to do is whenever I start a new character in D&D, I tend to buy a piece of jewelry that represents them, so I wear it during games. And I thought it would be interesting to instead get do a tattoo that's a collage of little symbols for my characters that have mattered to me over the years.
Yeah, that would be very fun.
Yeah, so I was just thinking it's there's just weird ones, but it would also be really weird to get a piece of jerky tattooed on me because of Lady Enith. I don't know. That's the thing. I'm really torn about what I would get for each of the characters that are my favorites.
I mean, I support it, even if it is silly.
I mean, I'm under the impression that the more tattoos you get, the sillier they get, and those tend to be the most fun. So
definitely. This red isn't quite what I want. So I will use it as a base coat and then do a different red for a second coat.
Hope said, Colton, make friends with someone who's learning how to tattoo. 2 of my tattoos were from people who was apprenticing at the time. So they were free as they were learning, but I still heavily tipped. But it's a good way to get small, cheap tattoos.
That's smart. Of course, that would require me to go out and meet people. So
make friends.
Yeah, but no, that's a good idea. Hope. I will put it under advisement. The tattoos I want though are super simple, just nice. A few lines of text. So pretty cheap considering. I'm imagining it. I've never actually looked at costs and such.
So there's a lot of variables that go into it, but size, whether or not you're gonna get color or black and white or grayscale, where it's tattooed, how big it is,
Sure.
Those are all factors, I think. But like Andy got a full-size tattoo on his bicep, maybe like 5 inches, 4 or 5 inches long, and it was like 150.
Okay.
It was a really good deal, and we heavily tipped. We were like, "Oh no, we're paying you more money." But from my understanding, at least from a few people that have gotten a lot of tattoos, that a lot of tattoo artists find it more valuable to just have like repeat customers than having just a big tip one time.
Right.
So like it's valuable for you to just like sing their praises and help them get clients and go back and work with them. It's an interesting relationship since you are their canvas. Anything else to share? Anything fun with you, Colton, this past week?
Oh, yes. This is like a call to action. Not really, but kind of. Everyone who is hearing my voice right now should, as soon as this broadcast is over, get y'all's hands on a copy of Saint of Bright Doors by Vajra Chandra Sekhera. It is, I think, one of the best books I have ever read in my entire life.
Is it a Warhammer book?
No, it's it's just this amazing. It's a debut novel from the author, and it's I think would be considered in the sort of like new weird genre of books.
Okay.
And it's brilliant. Like the prose is so pretty, and the story is like very deep, and I cannot stress enough how amazing it is.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, put it in. Be sure to put it in chat.
Yeah. Let me.
This is starting to look like if He-Man were a lich, which is kind of what I was going for. We're gonna do dark boots. Maybe dark boots with some like metallic.
Okay, there is that.
Ready?
Thank you. It's a very different red though than in person. I mean, unfortunately, but yeah, I need to let it dry a little bit so I can start on the second round of purple. Need to get my hands on like a one of those like hand fans that like tourists use.
Just as a reminder to anybody, if you put rather, I'll put it in the chat. After I sneeze.
Bless you.
So from now until the end of February, we are doing some charity fundraising. for the Palestine Children's Relief Fund. They're a group of doctors and essentially social workers. The goal being to provide healthcare and aid and food and overall sort of well-being support for children in the Gaza region, regardless of religion or ethnicity. So if you would be interested in helping us support them, we're still raising money, and you can find the link in chat, or you can put !give. And if you're watching this after the fact, you can find the info in the doobly-doo underneath the video. Doobly-doo is like one of my favorite words.
It's a good
word. It always makes me happy when people use it to refer to the video description. Learned it from the Green brothers.
Oh, hi, Charles. Other Charles.
Hello, Charles.
Non-Emperor Charles.
Present viewer of married to a present viewer of Vlogbrothers, so I catch it via osmosis and occasionally watch it. Andy bought Hank Green's cancer socks that he designed while he was doing chemo.
Oh, fun.
Rather, while Hank was doing chemo.
I run into him like once a month because he lives in my town.
Because you live in Missoula.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Not to dox myself, but you know.
Well, you know, once you say I see Hank Green, you kind of do. So.
Yeah,
It's like, listen, there's this really tiny town that, like, he's one of the most notable people who lives here. That's delightful.
We used to go to the same coffee shop when I worked downtown.
Delightful.
But I no longer go to that coffee shop because it is out of my way. And it doesn't have the best coffee. Also, I'm very sad because, like, my favorite coffee shop just closed. They have, like, this was their second location, so they still have their first location, so, like, all their roasts are still available, but I have to drive, like, an hour.
Oh, no. That's terrible.
Yeah, I know. I'm just, like, very disappointed.
So, this weekend was my niece's birthday. So they had a party. And, they had a bouncy house, like a bouncy castle. And,
sure.
It was themed after her favorite toys / YouTube show, I guess. I don't think it's actually on, like, network TV. Magical Mixlings. So if you've ever seen these toys okay, so okay, it's like Pokemon meets My Little Pony. Is the best way I can describe it. I say that because there's a ton of these different characters, and their names all sound like nonsense. And they're all vaguely animal shaped, but they all have like weirdness to them. Like this one's a panda, but it has a really fluffy fox tail, not like a red panda tail. Or like this one's a bunny, and they all have like gemstones on their bellies and stuff. Look up Magical Mixlings. So they're a toy. If you've ever seen these toys where they're in cauldrons and then you like pour a little water in and you put some glitter in it and you like mix it around with a spoon and like it makes electronic bubbling noises and it essentially like dissolves a piece of paper and it looks like you've conjured a creature out of the tub. It's incredibly wasteful from a material standpoint.
Yeah, my God.
And my
I mean, niece, I can't say anything. I paint Warhammer models, but
yeah, my niece like has so many of them. Like there's plastic cauldrons all over the house. Granted, her father is a toy collector, so I'm not surprised that has been encouraged.
Sure.
So she's getting into the family way. I I feel like you would really enjoy my brother-in-law. He's an artist. Rather, I call him an artist. He's a very good painter. He doesn't do it professionally or anything, but he decorated my niece's bedroom like an Ewok village. Like
I
he
love
painted
that.
the giant trees and everything, and then there's these little shelves along the walls where her toys can be because they're in the
Oh,
Ewok
wow.
village. It's
Hey,
so cute.
Angela.
Yeah, what's up?
Look at the
Holy shit, dude! Hope
thank
and
you
Grace,
all
thank you
y'all
so much.
so much.
Oh, you guys are amazing. You're
Yeah.
really putting a oh, that's really, really nice. Thank you. You're doing a lot of really good things right now for a lot of kids that really need it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We're supporting the relief fund via a group of streamers led by Cypher of Tyr, if you've ever seen her work in the D&D community. It's her like call to action basically that started it. I actually am curious how much money in total the fundraiser's gotten, but again, thank you so much. That was really, really cool. Both of you, Hope and Grace, thank you. And let's see, we're doing it as part of Helping As We Can. Wow. Okay, so last time I checked, they were at like $8,000 that they had total raised. They're now at $12,000.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
And they're shooting for 12,500, and they're at 12,072, which that 72 is pretty much from us, which is fun. Thank you both so much. That was really, really nice of you. Yeah, we this was our the fundraiser is our how we have chosen to respond to what was originally a general strike call. We participated in the first time that there was a call for a general internet user or internet creator strike, with going black for a couple of days, like just having we were streaming, but we had just a black screen with some info for where people could donate. And we decided this time that, to be honest, our how to put this, that sort of striking action, at least to me, is most useful when people who have very large followings choose to do it. We do not have a very large following, and us going dark doesn't really help anybody. So we have found that trying to raise a little money for a good cause that will help ease some suffering just felt like a better use of our time. And looky here, we've raised not an insignificant amount of money. Can help a lot of kids with meals or basic aid, things that they don't have access to right now. We the thing that really, really kind of wrecked me when we started talking about what we wanted to do is the fact that the UN has a new classification because of everything that's been going on in Gaza. It's a classification that indicates a child that has been, it's like basically like a civilian child injured without family. And that was not a designation before for the UN and the Red Cross. That is upsetting. So this is what we've decided to do to try to, I don't know, make a difference. even if it's a little one. It's not nothing. It matters a lot to a lot of kids. So, Hope and Grace, thank you so much. I'm gonna gently step off my soapbox. Colton, I am working with Lane, friend of the network, on getting our world anvil all polished for the world of Vale.
Ooh.
And so we're each taking different articles and working on those articles. And the one I decided to work on lately is Residuum. And which
is that
people who it's like a material that you can acquire from breaking down magic items.
Ooh, okay.
So it's been in like 4E. I don't know if it was any time before that. And it didn't really have much of a presence in 5E until Matt Mercer brought it back for Critical Role. He kind of recontextualized it for his campaign setting. And it's essentially the exact same thing though. The main use of it for a lot of it is it allows you to use it in place of traditional material spell components.
Ooh, I like that.
Which is very valuable for spellcasters, especially if your DM is particular about you using the right materials and stuff. And so Matt Mercer built an entire section of his campaign revolving around it, where it is the byproduct of processing whitestone, which is his sort of MacGuffin material.
Sure.
Or rather, whitestone is just a rock, but it has the ability to be chemically stripped into residuum. And so the funny thing is, I decided to bring in residuum because I took the other thing that Matt has in his game, ruidium. So ruidium is like haunted red crystals. But what I decided to do was, because the two words sound very similar, I decided to make them interconnected.
Okay.
So I have... So for anybody who has played in the world of Vale before, you probably are familiar with air shale, which is like our unobtainium MacGuffin-y material. And I basically took the standpoint of we're all made of stardust kind of thing, and decided that, everything, especially things that are of magical nature, has a little air shale in it.
Okay.
And so residuum is basically air shale essence. It is something that you can break down from magical items or from air shale itself, and it is, it can probably be used for a number of things. I want to come up with a couple other uses besides just having it be for spell components. But I've been using ruidium in my pirate campaign as this kind of I kind of started using it on a lark because I found a cool item that had ruidium in the blade, and I injured one of my characters and cursed them with it. So I was like, okay, now I gotta figure out what the fuck ruidium is. So I was playing with that, but now I've figured out what the deal with ruidium is, and I decided that ruidium is basically what happens when you break down cursed magic items. It is
incredibly.
it's unstable. You don't always get the same, like, you can't just curse somebody with ruidium and have it be the exact same symptoms and like issue. It does not like being predictable. It almost is as if the material has its own little bit of sentience and agency.
Sure.
And I'm playing around with the idea of it originating from the god of the domains that I have. So the god of death and arcane. So it's the god of like forbidden knowledge and the god of liches and
Ooh.
the idea of like discovering forgotten magics and dead magics. So it's been cool developing this concept, and I was fooling around in Photoshop the other day, so I came up with this really cool image for ruidium. It's like residuum. I have this green crystal growing that I found a picture of, and then ruidium took a long time to make because I wanted it to feel both crystalline and liquid. So it had this kind of goopiness to it. And I realized, so I had this idea already in my head, and then Andy and I started playing this freaking Final Fantasy game, and that game is just like wet with that stuff. It's literally the thing they've chose. Like, I'll send you the opening. The opening cinematic is really cool. They're like the soldiers are running through a castle. It looks like somebody has like stormed the castle and just like laid waste to the royal guards, and and the royal guards are just strewn across the ground, fucking dead. But they're all like in puddles of blood, but they have crystals growing out of them in addition to the blood, and it's super cool looking. And I'm like, yeah, this is the vibe. This is the thing I wanted ruidium to feel like. So it's been cool just taking screenshots and going, this is what ruidium is. And I just finished a really cool picture of it. So I've got this neat like custom image of what the ruidium or what the residuum crystal looks like, which is very like regimented and clean. And then ruidium just looks fucking badass.
I love that. I fully support stealing things from for D&D from media. My character for Franz's Curse of Strahd game is just fully based on Vash the Stampede from
Incredible.
Trigun.
I love it.
But yeah, I actually had this was taken from a few sources, and I also kind of thought about it from myself. But I might be doing a game that has to do with the Feywild a lot.
Cool.
And I don't love the Feywild, especially D&D's just like vanilla Feywild.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've been doing, sort of like brewing, is that the Feywild is essentially one giant stage.
Ooh,
so like
fun.
If someone goes there, like instead of trees and all this, like all the trees are like wooden cutouts.
Amazing. Oh my god, that's so good.
Right?
Yeah, I love that.
And like the idea that all Fey just inherently know the script of the Feywild.
Well, I love your brain so much.
Well, thank you.
So good. That's stellar.
It seemed neat.
Yeah. I've always wanted to do a play in game and just like hand people this shitty script.
Oh, that would be
so
fun.
You have to perform this now.
I Honestly, that is one of my like favorite things. When like DMs have players play like NPCs for just a bit.
Yeah.
I was watching this wonderful, wonderful actual play. It's called By Law and Order.
Okay.
The folks that make it are a group called Loading Ready Run.
Okay, I feel like I've heard of them.
And it's set on Ravnica, which is a magic setting. And Ravnica is based on like the idea that 10 guilds rule the entire plane, which is one massive ecumenopolis, which means the entire plane is one city. And the game was getting a signature on a piece of legislation from each guild, so that the Ravnican sausage standards could be updated.
Dear Lord.
So for the entire game is about getting people to sign a document.
Amazing.
And there is one session where they all go and meet up with a character's grandmother who is like a very high member in a guild, and the grandmother is trying to set up the player character with a bunch of people.
Okay.
So she holds this like massive feast, and each of the other players got like a little document detailing what suitor they were supposed to play.
Incredible.
And it was the funniest goddamn thing I had ever done did see. Loading Ready Run is just very funny people in general. But this was great. And they have a second season out coming out now.
Nice.
Which is fun. I've not had a chance to watch it, but there are only 2 episodes out. I think I might actually rectify that after stream.
All right, so it's a little hard to see, but I took a little bit of liquid green stuff and put it over his mouth to like connect it in these 2 little strips. So what I'm gonna do is then paint the skull and then have tusks, because I love this idea of the barbarian lich being an ogre or an orc.
That's fun. Yeah. Hope, yeah. So D&D doesn't really play with that mechanic a lot, but there are some games where like each player plays like 5 characters, like their main character and then NPCs from other characters like backstory.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
I can't think of what game I'm thinking of, but yeah, so like you can see a lot of different things like that, but it really just depends on what game you're playing.
I guess we're gonna have to adjust our goal.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So thank you again. I realized that we might need to do that.
It very much is. Just the other day in Franz's Curse of Strahd game, I for the last like 4 sessions I was playing a spy that was introduced into the party, and it was some of the funnest D&D I've ever played in my entire life. All right, I'm opening the yellow paint pot. Let's pray that it doesn't immediately muddy itself.
Fingers crossed.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty.
Hooray.
I'll just have to be very careful with it.
Can we do? Save changes. All right.
Oh goodness, no wonder it's taking so long. I'm using the wrong brush. Hee hee.
Oh no.
Oops.
Just a really small one.
Yeah.
Figures. While I'm thinking about it, let's do this. Some of the trees. Found the best goofy ass pun magic item yesterday.
Oh.
The lore axe.
Oh my goodness.
It speaks for the trees. But only if the trees are magical.
Sure.
But no, it was great. It like literally looked like the Dr. Seuss character. It was an axe that had like a fluffy tuft on it. It was really funny. I ran a really fun combat on Sunday. Players were fighting a bunch of cursed magic items in a magic shop that had gone rogue. I found this website and I need to track it down again, that had a whole bunch of job board postings, and they were like full on illustrated with like fun fonts, and some of them had illustrations on them, and
nice.
It was a good time.
Remember to hydrate. We've gotta
yes, thank you. And the one that they picked to do said, "Break into my magic shop!" Exclamation point. That the magic shop owner had been booted out of his magic shop when a bunch of the items went rogue, and he's looking for someone to get inside and defeat them. And it says, "We'll pay you $20,000 worth of magic items, worth of inventory from my shop." So, if you go through D&D, like, pricing, $20,000 is not that much for magic items. Basically, each of them are going to get a rare item, or they'll get a very rare item, a single very rare item.
I hate the D&D economy so much.
Yeah, I struggle all the time to make better pricing. And then there's a point where I just avoid it. I just go, you know what? You have to do something. We're going Federation. This is a barter system.
Nice.
It's way easier to think about barter.
Just get like 30,000 self-sealing stem bolts, and then
just trade your way up.
Yeah. It's capitalism is a river. That's
lots of
rule of
drown?
acquisition. What? 57?
Dear Lord.
I used to know all the rules of acquisition because I was that kind of person.
That's like knowing all of Zote's rules for heroes or something from Hollow Knight.
Oh god. Yeah.
I watched a streamer the other day, and I watch her a lot, but she got like tired while she was playing, and she just went Baffanata, and it made me laugh so hard.
Oh my god.
But like, I'll be honest, I don't know of a better way of expressing that feeling. Just saying that. It was very good.
I love that game. I can't wait for 2029 when we get its sequel.
Seriously.
Team Cherry, if you're listening, we love you.
Take your
Please,
time.
dear God, stop adding the 19th DLC area. That's enough.
Mm-hmm.
We get it. No, I'm very excited because I know it's going to be like ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm like, you guys just take your time. It's gonna be beautiful. There's lots of games for me to catch up on before you release it. I'm gonna do a griffin. I'm gonna start a griffin. Hey, Mouse, what is the... I don't remember the colors for that griffin from the Might Club game. I think he was a blue, like, falcony kind of griffin. Let's see, it's gonna be... Where is he? I feel so dumb. Amos, thank you. Damn it. Yes, Amos was the person I was thinking of. Amos. Looks like Erebus was a... Oh, he was a white fowl. Or it was a white griffin. That's not gonna work very well with this coloration. Yeah. We'll just make a different one. As much as I adore the idea of a white griffin with like purple, I'm not going to be able to paint that right now with the slap chop method. Yellow tan lion, and then explore what our color options are after.
This yellow is actually really not terrible. Shocked.
That's good. Gentle expectation.
Specifically went to my LGS 2 days ago to get a new yellow because
local game store.
Yes, because the yellow that I had was just terrible. Citadel's usually pretty good, but where is it? I still have the yellow somewhere, I think. Oh, maybe I got rid of it. I don't know. Regardless, it was just a terrible, terrible shade. It like muddied.
Got something better.
It looked muddy on any color. Any base coat, even.
That sucks.
Yeah, I was not pleased. But I have this one now, so all that matters. Alright, one more layer of purple. Then I can start doing the horns. pleased with how it's turning out. I was a little worried because the print itself wasn't the best, but the paint is really covering it up very nicely.
Great. I have discovered how useful the liquid green stuff is for, like, helping with 3D prints too.
I need to get myself some of that.
It comes in really small bottles.
Sure.
But like the one I have was like $11 and it's 0.4 ounces.
Oh, jeez.
But it's really useful and it goes a long way. You don't buy it with the intention of like, you get regular green stuff if you're going to do something big. This is for touch-ups.
Right.
Then I guess we're doing Petra's Griffin because I'm unintentionally making a yellow lion. I don't remember what Petra's was named either. Literally have Petra and Griffin, so I guess I didn't have the name for it. Unless it's listed somewhere. If you find it in your notes, Mouse, please feel free. It's fine, we can rename it. Not hardened leather. Yes, sir. Slowly working my way up the colors to darker and darker colors. I gotta go look up a griffin.
For one of my games, Griffin just made me think of it. I had as pests instead of like rats or anything.
Trash griffins?
Yeah, they were called lesser griffins, and they were seagulls mixed with raccoons.
Oh my god. I have an entire page of notes that are just pictures of people's trash griffins. They're like,
that's amazing.
Rats and pigeons mixed together. Possums. It's great. Like possums and house cats.
I think it was based on that one video in which a seagull tried to eat a capybara. But I saw one that was a capybara and a seagull. Yeah, it was incredible. Also, seagulls are fucking terrifying. Or pelicans. Pelicans are fucking
pelicans
terrifying.
Are horrifying.
And I love them.
Scary.
This is so I think I'm allowed to say this. For our March stream, that's like our special TTRPG stream, I'm going to be a player on it. I'm very excited. And my character, I'm gonna just, to drum up excitement, is an alchemist named Baron Utul III.
Okay.
Baron is a name, not a title, importantly.
Okay.
And Baron Utul III has a familiar named Oodles, who's a pelican. That acts as essentially a purse by just storing everything he needs in the pelican's now.
Delightful. I love it.
I'm so excited to play him. I've picked out the voice, which I will not be showing off right now.
Of course.
So you'll have to come out.
Keep it close to the chest.
Yeah, see it. But when I tell you, I think this is one of my favorite voices that I've ever come up with, because it's just so god awful.
Amazing. I look forward to it as well.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm very proud of it. Alrighty. I am going to step away for just a moment because my paint can needs a definite clean, or a definite re-upping of clean water. So I will be right back.
Sounds good. It's important and responsible. Yeah, we'll just rename the Griffin mouse at a certain point. Oh, damn it, that was the wrong color. Anyway, so I'm going for this like brown and tan. Like the lion's gonna be yellow, and the eagle's gonna be brown. I think it's gonna look really nice. Should have gone a little darker. I'll do a little coat with the hardened, or with the dark wood as well. This isn't quite as dark as I wanted it. Yeah, I'm excited. I actually wasn't expecting to bust out the Griffin today. My brain is real good.
I've returned.
Welcome back. I called my Griffin a pelican.
Nice, nice. Alrighty, let's do this.
You know, I heard something vaguely fun today, or yesterday.
Oh.
As sort of middling as excitement is amongst fans for the Netflix Airbender series.
Oh yeah,
I know, but I am very amused by the fact that they cast the original voice actor for the Cabbage Salesman as himself.
Okay, that's cute.
Isn't that delightful?
I support that.
Yeah, I thought that was very sweet.
Yeah, when I was like middlingly excited for it until I read hey, we removed Aang's entire character
and Sokka's.
Yeah.
Which on the one level I understand, like, not wanting to be super problematic, but like that was his whole point, was that he grew.
Yeah.
And to remove that like cultural context of the character, like that just tells me that you couldn't think of a way of making a character who was a misogynist be still like entertaining enough to watch.
Right.
Because they're just kids, you know? And he's very much in, like, the whole point of meeting Suki and the Toshi Warriors was to show him, hey, like, get your head out of your ass. And then he became incredibly respectful.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, it's stunningly ridiculous.
Sounds like, it just sounds like they're fast forwarding through a lot of stuff and they're going to spend a lot of time on Zuko. Which is fine, I guess, if not a little expedited.
Also, I'm really annoyed at the fact that they're apparently going to show the Ernomed dying, which, like I think defeats the entire purpose, because we, like, in the original, animation, we learn at pretty much the same time as Aang does that they're all gone, and removing that it's stunningly stupid. Like,
I can see why, like you can see why the creators backed out.
yeah,
They were,
oh god,
fighting over fundamental things like that.
I just think live action adaptations need to, pardon my French, fucking stop.
Yeah.
I'm sick of them. There hasn't been a good one ever. I don't think.
It would take I'm struggling. Like, what are you saying? Any live action adaptation of an animated product?
For the most part, yeah. Like, I can't
Are you including
think of
video games and stuff in there too? Because that's also
I don't think
like
no, because like that's a fully different medium, right? Because like I think that transfer of video game to television show, the adaptation is like stronger. Like it can be done, but like from animated TV show to like live action TV show, I don't think I can think of a single one that's good.
Yeah, it would take a little doing for me to think about it. I got frustrated that I heard I haven't watched Has Been Hotel. I've been
It's very good.
Yeah, I don't know why I was avoiding it. I feel like I heard some I don't know, through the grapevine cancel culture kind of stuff about the creator, and I just didn't get into it for whatever reason.
Sure.
And then I heard who the new cast was, and I was like, God damn it. Looking at all my favorite musical theater people. Yeah, I'll listen to it. Or I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it's very good.
I'm loving this little birdie. He's looking good. All right, let's add it down. Probably gonna go for it with the darker brown. I am really pleased though that after having to watch a bunch of the what was it, Magical Mixlings show that my niece had me watch. I got her to watch the first episode of Centaur World.
Oh, I love that show so much.
She got a little scared at the Minotaurs because she's a little scared of violent stuff, which is fair. And I had to promise her, I was like, I promise it gets really silly in a little bit. And then she got to the point where the moon had a butt and she was laughing. So
nice.
And then she says to me, can you play Dungeons and Dragons in Centaur World? And I said, yeah, we can.
Nice.
So that might happen at some point. I'm very excited about it.
I love that.
Yeah, she's so excited to play.
Did she get to the Nowhere King yet?
Oh no, we only got to the first episode.
But
I did tell my sister, okay, she's probably totally fine to watch the first season, But the second season, you might have to wait a couple years. The second season does get a little intense, and like the finale of the first season is a little intense.
You could say it's gone camping because of how intense it is.
Ha 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 ha.
Thank you. I'll see myself out. That was.
Thank you for taking the initiative here.
Just...
I just love that's John Cameron Mitchell, Hedwig, playing the Nowhere King or the night. I could not believe when I first heard it.
He does such an amazing job.
Yeah, I think just because my only reference point for him is Hedwig, that it really threw me. I was like, how is that the same singer?
Right.
But yeah, specifically the things that got like, I'll try to keep spoilers to an absolute minimum, but season 2 having some what they call thematic elements with like some subject matter maybe being a little intense, not just the Nowhere King, but implications of things like self-harm and things like that.
Also, I love that term so much because it's such nonsense.
It means nothing.
It means nothing. Everything is a thematic element.
But it also covers the insinuation of like, it is potentially controversial content. So it's useful in its vagueness.
Sure.
Because you can kind of fill in the blank. But it is a nonsense word. 100%. Alright, so we got this real dark brown. And now I'm gonna... Yes, my niece does have a massive brain. She's great. I told Andy immediately, I'm like, so we're gonna play D&D in Centaur World as a campaign setting? I just want to warn you now that is happening. And he's like, okay. And she's like, I want to be a half unicorn, half fairy. I'm like, I can do that. I can make that work. You're a fairy tar. A unifairy. Which just sounds like a bus station.
Or some very, very weird form of public transportation.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like so excited to go to bed tonight. And also not, because I still have shit to do when we get off stream.
Same. I'm
working on a video intro for our premiere on Thursday. Blood of My Blood.
So excited.
For those of you who don't know, Blood of My Blood is a Vampire the Masquerade campaign we're running. Set in Melbourne, Australia. We have a few Australian players and our DM. So, if you want to see how the Aussies play Vampire, check it out. But yeah, I'm really proud of the intro. I've been working on it all day. I mean, that's just my problem though, is I never go half measure, which means I learn new techniques every time I try to make something in Premiere, and then it's like, okay, I gotta learn a new tool, and like, oh wait, I guess I gotta learn After Effects today. Which, it's not the worst thing. Like, I actually picked up a couple things, and it was really useful for a particular aspect of the video, so.
Nice.
And that's not the only premiere happening. That's the other reason I really want to go to bed. I have my afternoon stream premiering tomorrow.
Oh, right. That's... Congratulations. I'm very excited. I unfortunately can't
you're
visit,
fine.
But...
You're A-okay. For those of you who do have afternoons where you want to, like, either watch a stream or just have something silly on in the background. It's called Fantasy Facelifts, and it is it's going to be for now, a Hero Forge stream, where I am essentially trying to make D&D characters look like their celebrity face claims that my players or myself have assigned them. Should be a good time. Very silly. Trying to make, Jake Gyllenhaal into a gnome barbarian and all that cool jazz.
Is that the first?
I am going to attempt it. Someone actually made Jake Gyllenhaal accidentally in Hero Forge. And so I'm going to use that picture. They didn't put the link in, so I'm going to just take the picture and use it as inspiration.
Nice.
But they did very clearly accidentally make Jake Gyllenhaal. But yeah, so I have my players in Might Club each. Like I've had this idea since Might Club wrapped, and so I got everybody's face claims, and I will be attempting to update their D&D characters as like a fond farewell to the characters.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm excited. And it's not like trying to exactly like steal identities, but using the things I like most about the actors or the face claim, and then taking that as inspiration to make them all look like, individual people, as opposed to just using model default faces. The face customizer is a real cool piece of tech. And I look forward to the kit bashing, which would be next on the list of big updates. And yes, Mouse, your boyfriend or your gnomish boyfriend. I'll probably be updating him on tomorrow afternoon. But yeah, so I'm very much looking forward to that. Anybody interested? It's going to be at 2 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, 11 a.m. Pacific. But if you are following us here on Twitch, you'll get pinged. And there'll be a post on Twitch or Twitter and Blue Sky, which Blue Sky just went open for everybody. So if anybody doesn't have it and you want to get off Twitter, because I refuse to call it X, you should come check out Blue Sky and follow us there. We are just Nerdsmith on Blue Sky because we didn't have to fight for the username. It was great. Okay. This bird is so pretty. Hooray! Yay, mouse. My goal is to kind of take heavy inspiration from Drawfee and just like occasionally do like character challenges where it's like we're gonna random generate a character using emojis, and I have to make the character in Hero Forge.
Fun.
Yeah.
This is the green I'm using, of course, is Striking Scorpion green. The green that a few times ago, the one that betrayed me by falling of its own volition all over my everything. I've still not forgiven it, but it's a good green. Though I think I'm going to use it as a base coat again, because it's not quite the color I'm looking for. I think I might use it as a base coat and then a top coat with a layer of Son of Horus green.
Okay.
I'm going to see how it looks when it dries, because it is a very, very, very slow paint.
Gotcha. I'm really pleased
Emperor
with this.
Charles II, I have beef with everything.
You and Franz should start a podcast where you just talk about the things you have beef with.
I'd be down. You should tell him that.
Okay. I'll let him know that you guys need a negativity corner. We just call it Grouchtown. It's just the podcast version of our channel.
Fully support that.
Grouchtown, in case anyone hasn't been on our Discord server, Grouchtown is a mental health space. The idea being to provide an area where people can vent, if they just need to vent about something random, but it is a space that is designated for that, so that if somebody doesn't really have the bandwidth to listen to that kind of thing, they don't clog up the general chat with stuff that is frustrating or, you know, and allows the general chat to be a more relaxed place. I think in general it's a positive addition to the server, despite its negative content. Well, because of its negative. Ooh, I love these wings. They came out so good. They go dark brown to orange to...
Oh yeah, that's real
yellow.
pretty.
Yeah, it's a pretty bird. Pretty bird.
Rude.
Listen, I attack my...
I wasn't even in that game.
I know. I use it on a regular basis and I upset them. It's wonderful. It's okay. He has a fairy girlfriend now.
Oh, good for him.
It's great.
Good for them.
Okay. Now I want to bust out... Griffin has appropriately sharp claws.
Oh dear.
Talons, I suppose. I'm very much looking forward to Pixel also next week. This week we didn't have it because it was Alora's birthday and she wanted the day off, which I was totally down for. But next week we're starting Tales from the Borderlands.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah, it's probably my favorite Telltale game. And not just because Ashley Johnson plays the cutest robot I have ever seen in my life.
I do love a cute robot.
Both canonically the cutest robot and, in my personal opinion, the cutest robot. Like, everybody literally just goes, "Aww, they're so cute."
Amazing.
Yeah. And Patrick Warburton's in it. I legitimately thought it was someone doing a Patrick Warburton impression and then realized it was just Patrick Warburton.
I love that.
It's like, oh, okay, cool. I'm pretty sure it's like Troy Baker and Laura Bailey as the two main characters too.
Nice.
Great. There is an entire sequence in Tales from the Borderlands in which these middle management businessmen get into a you get into a shootout with them, except it's not real. They're all doing air guns.
Oh my god.
And it's elaborate.
So you have all
these executives going and they're all like honor system too. Like they're falling down and staying down. It's great.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a pretty fucking funny sequence. Because you're still doing QuickTime events, but you're definitely not actually shooting anybody.
Oh my god.
Alora didn't really get into the Borderlands series because it like gave her motion sickness. And I was like, well, the Borderlands like Telltale game doesn't have that, so it'll be way better and you can still enjoy the world building. So.
Nice.
And
I
it has
know
it has an amazing soundtrack too.
I know very little about the Borderlands, other than apparently there's a unicorn that poops guns.
Yeah, so Borderlands is like a send up of Mad Max. So it's but also like a space thing.
Right.
The unicorn started as a absurdist joke. So I don't know if you ever back in the day watched Hey Ash, What You Playin'?
No.
It was a YouTube series with Anthony and Ashley Birch, and it was definitely a fictitious version of Ashley Birch. But Ashley plays a character in the Borderlands series called Tiny Tina.
Oh yeah, I do know about her. I've seen.
So Tiny Tina is very close to Ash's like her show personality, but her actual personality, she's delightful. And her brother Anthony and her did this series for several years. And it was this combination of like they'd do a theme every week that was like about a video game that was out or in the zeitgeist at the time, and it was just a comedy sketch and an absurdist sort of thing. And Anthony went on to write Borderlands 2, which Borderlands 1 was pretty good, but what it was missing was any depth remotely about the characters.
Sure.
It was very much just a run and gun. It had nothing to offer except for like some like vague journal entries that gave you some information about the characters. So I'm actually really looking forward. I'm weirdly looking forward to the movie that's coming out.
I did not know there was a movie.
Yeah, Kate Blanchett's one of the main characters.
Really?
I was like, Kate Blanchett in a fucking like sci-fi post-apocalypse movie? I'm down.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's her and I think Kevin Hart is the sort of. I'm really curious what they're gonna do with the character that Kevin Hart's playing, because he's like the straight-laced commando kind of guy, and it'd be interesting if they let Kevin Hart play that instead of being Kevin Hart.
Right. Fascinating.
But yeah, it would be really interesting. But the main point I was trying to get to was it's a world where basically every planet in the galaxy, in the outskirts of the galaxy, is a Mad Max world. There's just people that have gone insane and they just want to murder everything, and they worship cars and guns. And it's a world where you were just talking about Ravnica. It's a world in which several major gun manufacturers basically own the universe.
Okay.
And so when you're buying, like, the game is it's so much of a loot and shoot, where every time you kill something, you get like 6 guns and you have to like go through your inventory. And you just end up upgrading every like single battle. It can get exhausting if you don't like that kind of Skinner box gameplay.
Sure.
Which is literally the kind of game that the new Final Fantasy also feels like. Because you are literally every single fight, you are going back into your menu and just like optimizing your gear. Because you get stuff, you get like almost too much equipment as loot drops. But so Borderlands 1 made me wish there was a movie, because all I wanted to do was watch something with these characters sitting at a bonfire and just shooting the shit, because they were fun. Like, they were cool characters, but you just didn't know anything about them. And Borderlands 2 fixed that. One, by making all the characters in the first game NPCs that you interact with, and then the characters that you play in the second game had like slightly more beefed up backstories.
Nice.
And so yeah, it was neat. I really enjoyed it, and it was fucking, at the time, I don't know how, I think it still holds up, but like, for this really irreverent, weird, meta Mad Max game, it was so funny at the time. Like, there is, and this is kind of like what you would imagine, like the sort of gameplay or the sort of jokes you find. There's a single bandit off on a cliffside in the middle of a level that you're like going through, that he's just like yelling, shoot me in the face, and you're like, what? And you can legitimately shoot him in the face and you get an achievement for it.
Oh my god.
But they'll do things like they'll do things like Tiny Tina. She is this weird 12-year-old who talks like has like weird, almost gangster rap affectations to her voice. Where but she's obsessed with explosives, and she strapped a bomb to her bunny stuffed animal, and called her Princess Badoinkadoink.
Okay.
Things like that. So it's a really weird game, but very funny. The main villain is so interesting because you are constantly talking to him. He is on the intercom berating you and making fun of you the entire time.
Nice.
So he's like one of the most like visible for a character that's just like in your head, like in your ears. He's one of the more visible bad guys I've ever experienced. Like, he's funny to listen to because he's just an asshole, but he's really clever. And for some reason, like, he talks about how he's rich and he basically owns a company. He owns one of the gun companies. And there is a point where he's just showing you how rich he is. And he says that he bought a pony entirely made of diamond. And you think, he called it Butt Stallion. That's what he called it.
Oh, goodness.
And he's just like, it's entirely made out of diamond and it's amazing. And then you find out later that it's a real living creature. And you're like, wait, what? That it's this diamond horse that he bought. Because it sounded like he had just bought a statue.
Right.
But he's a character that genuinely thinks that you guys are pieces of shit and he is the hero. He's like, I am the hero that is saving this planet through capitalism, and you guys are a bunch of maniacs. And we are a bunch of maniacs, but he's also a sociopath.
Sure.
But he genuinely thinks that, like, he is the noble person, and he's doing things that are incredibly dark. Like, every time they bring in a character that's really funny and like goofy, even Tiny Tina, they have a tragic backstory, and there's a lot of pathos that just punches you in the gut in the middle of this silly ass game. So it
Nice.
has a lot of that, which I appreciate.
So Hope, these lines are not going to be white in the final product. They're going to be black. Which is why I'm kind of fine with them having paint all over them, because they're going to be fully blacked out. Though I do have to draw extra white lines on some of the paint, so I will just be using a very strong paint. What I might do is, I've seen this done a few times on things, is do a layer of gray on first.
Ooh,
and
sure.
Then a white overline, which just can help like define the white from whatever color you're painting on top of.
So I realized I used a lot of the same colors tonight. Side by side, they're basically the same color scheme.
Love that.
Maybe he rides. Oh my god, if I took him off his figure, he would ride the griffin. Anyway, took him off his stand. Anyway, so eventually I will be adding some metallic to this barbarian lich, but once the green stuff, I'm going to give the green stuff overnight to dry. I am going to sort of slowly try to color. I'll do a little bit of a dry brush in white over it, and then recolor it in the speed paint that I was using. And then I'm going to paint the little pieces that stick up out of the skull. I'm going to paint them like tusks. So yeah, there'll be a little, a Orc-Barian lich. All right, so I think we're going to wrap there for tonight.
Sounds good.
Get some sleep. I got to finish video editing. Rather,
Fun.
I have to get it to render, which is the worst because it's I have to just sit and wait.
Right.
But I hope that those of you who joined us had a good time. Again, thank you so much to Hope and to Grace for donating to the Palestine Children's Relief Fund. You really are making a huge difference in the lives of a lot of kids, and it is honestly, I could not imagine us raising money for anything else right now. So I really appreciate you guys helping us out. We'll be fundraising until the end of February. So we got a lot of weeks left until we actually wrap up, and it looks like well on our way to hitting the 12,500 mark for the entire group of streamers. And you should check them out. If you go to the Tiltify, you'll find other people who are also streaming. Critical Bard is also in the group. Several people from the D&D communities. So have fun watching people do fun things for charity and a good cause. Do you have anything you would like to plug, Colton, before we go?
Yeah, I'm on this podcast.
Yeah.
Not sure if you've heard of it. Called For Light and Dice. It's pretty fun. We just had our first recording session of the new year on Sunday, and oh boy, what a ride! It was a cavalcade of something.
Delightful.
It was great. So give it a listen. It's fun.
Well, welcome back to the mic.
Yeah, thank you. And then I'm going to be here in March, being a terrible, terrible advisor to a king. And then I'm here on Tuesdays, so that's about it right now.
Heck yeah, you are. And again, just as a reminder, we have 2 premieres this week. I will be premiering tomorrow afternoon with Fantasy Facelifts, my Hero Forge silliness. You can find us here on Twitch, and it'll be at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. Kind of a funky time, but we appreciate you. It's just meant to be kind of give us a little bit of an afternoon time slot that we don't normally stream during. And I work from home, so that makes that easy for me. Also, on Thursday, we have our Vampire the Masquerade game, Blood of My Blood, premiering. Check out our socials tomorrow, because once I finish this intro video, we're putting it up. So you'll get a chance to see it. I'm really excited. It is it's such a cool vibe. And the game is undoubtedly going to be really fun. We've got some familiar faces if you are part of the TikTok cosplay community. Some people who I'm very excited to have. And yeah, it should be a really cool time. It's going to be a multi-week game. So join in now while it starts. Get in on the ground floor, or the 6 feet under floor, as it were. Anyway, that was bad.
Yeah, it was serviceable.
Yeah, it's okay. All right, everybody, please have a great rest of your night. Thank you for joining us for crafting, and we'll see you next week, while we continue to paint from the heart. All right, everybody, goodbye.
Good night. Bye.